Oh, well, listen, we are jealous of your brows. And speaking of those beautiful makeup skills, it's now finally my turn in the kitchen with Tumi, and she's got some cooking skills up her culinary sleeve.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Well, we're about to take a classic recipe. I'm talking about waffles and maple syrup and really give it a unique classic spin thanks to Clover. Chef Tumi, you're in the kitchen to show me how we're going to make a waffle cake. This sounds delicious, and we're going to be with a vanilla maple dressing.
Yes, my darling. And the one thing I love about it is that today is International World Youth Skills Day. And this is a skill that I think any young person should have, making waffles.
Making waffles and just being handy in the kitchen.
Exactly.
I realize now more than ever how expensive it is to constantly just order food.
Exactly. So we're going to keep it simple here. The ingredients we have, we've got some butter and sugar that we've already creamed together. We're using caster sugar because obviously it melts much quicker. So into this, I'm going to go with my egg.
Okay.
And then I'm going to follow up with some of our vanilla essence. And then we go in with our Clover Classic dairy snack, the vanilla flavor.
And that's nice about this is it's a great snacking option. There are different flavors. It comes in different sizes, and we are using it now also in our recipe. So how much of that are you adding, more or less?
We're looking at about a cup here. So I'm going to just keep scooping until I've eyeballed a cup.
See, you are one of those chefs that get to eyeball weight and like volume. For me, I always find it so fascinating when you ask someone, so how much did you add? It's like, I just estimate. I guesstimate.
Well, then you're actually going to need that as well because you're going to use it for the frosting that we're going to be making for our waffles.
Can I get started on that?
You can definitely get started. All I'm going to do is just cream our wet ingredients together, and then into this I'm going to go in with the dry, which in essence is just our baking powder and flour.
Fantastic. And that is our dough for our waffle mixture.
Correct. That's
our waffle mixture. So I've got here in front of me some whipped cream. And then how much of the Clover Classic vanilla flavor should I be guesstimating into here?
I'd like to test you and say eyeball it.
Eyeball it? Okay. How much was the eyeball?
Let's say about a quarter cup first. So that let's start with 2 tablespoons.
There we go.
Let's make it another third one.
A third one, okay.
And then because we still want to make sure we keep the air in our whisked eggs, in our whipped cream, I'm going to ask you to be... Oh, no, you can actually go in there because you still want to make sure we've got those stiff peaks.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'm going to go into our wet ingredients here with some of our dry ingredients. But first, what I want to do is I'm going to mix our baking powder and our flour together first, and then plop this in there. The flour's already been sifted, so all I'm going to do this...
There we go.
What are we gonna do?
And then is this something we can really play with the batter? I mean, this is a classic recipe here. How can we zhuzh it up and add a bit of personality?
That is a perfect question because you can add anything that you like. For instance, I'm a lover of chocolate. I put chocolate in everything.
So you can add some choc chips to that.
Choc chips, some fresh berries. Yes, we're putting berries in our layers here, but you could even put some fresh berries in here. Frozen berries would work as well. You can put some nuts if you'd like to. You can put some spices even.
I like
cinnamon flavor.
So if we're going to add
that.
some texture like our choc chips or our blueberries, do we need to coat it in some flour before adding it, or is this recipe fine for you to just add it?
It is ideal. If you're going to be baking something, it is ideal to put it in some flour first because you don't want it to sink to the bottom. So you can then toss them in some flour and then add it to your batter. I think our batter is also perfect now because another thing is I don't want to overwork this dough because we don't want the gluten to be activated. We want it to be nice and fluffy.
Okay.
So I'm going to go in and scoop some of our batter into our waffle maker. It's been greased
and
it's
hot.
Very important.
The secret is you need a hot waffle maker.
Correct. So I make for 1 or for 2?
You're going to make for 2.
Okay.
I love waffles.
Perfect. So we're just going to put this in there. And another trick when you're making waffles is never overfill it. So rather let the batter do the work. It'll go spread across and do whatever it has to do.
See, I've been guilty of that where I fill the entire thing and then when I close it up, it oozes out on the side. Okay. So now we've already got some finished waffles here because we are making a cake at the end of the day. So how are we going to assemble this?
So you've already got some of the mixture already done there. So you can actually start layering up there. So I see you've got some strawberries. Let me take them and start halving them for you. And then we'll add them as texture into our cake there. So you can
I can just literally put our cream with our Clover Classic vanilla that we're adding to the middle. So I can just spread that like this.
Perfectly, and that looks very nice, very...
Very chefy.
Very, definitely very chefy. And this is also a part where you can add other ingredients as well. So if you're making the choc chip flavor, you could add the choc chips in there as well. So there's specks of the brown chocolate in there and the white, the color. So it looks pretty.
Yes.
The different colors, all of that. You can do your thing. I've done my
So how
part.
many of the berries are we adding the berries at the top or now?
Just in the ends, yeah, just in the corners there.
There we go.
Perfect.
Just gonna add another
Second
one.
layer.
See, this is teamwork. I love the idea of a waffle cake. I think for my birthday next year, a waffle cake's going to be top of the menu.
Perfect, and you can even, if you want to, you can even replace it with some actual ice cream. Work your dairy snack into the ice cream, and that just gives it a whole other flavor altogether.
There we go. Okay.
Perfect. You're quite good at this.
Fantastic. I'm trying. I feel like I learn best from the chefs in the kitchen. There we go. So how many layers should we really go for?
Let's go all the way to the top, Zoe. Let's just take it all the way
we are
to the
not
top.
going to take any shortcuts, but if you love the idea of this waffle cake recipe with our vanilla maple dressing, simply head on over to our website, that's expressoshow.com. Get yourself the ingredients and the steps to make this delicious waffle cake. As you can see there at the end, we have the beautiful finished one, but I feel like now I'm being challenged to just really get it up to the top. There we go. To me, I love what we've created.
And voila.
This looks amazing. Okay, we need to tuck into this for breakfast, but if you've missed any of the steps, we have a recap for you.
Made with love by Clover.